All right, welcome everybody. Good morning. I know Steve's still passing around the sign-in sheet, but welcome to our vendor orientation. My name is Jeff Drury, the director here, and Choice Partners, senior director. I've been here almost 8 years. And we want to tell you a little bit about Choice Partners, a little bit about how we can basically, our only job in life with vendors is to help you make more money, help you make more sales, but do it legally and compliantly. That's in stark contrast to a lot of our competitors. We like to say we're the best, but we'll talk to you a little bit about who we are, what we do, and how we operate. And we'll have a couple of different presentations on some of the legal issues, some of the JOC and contracting issues, some of the ways that you can navigate our website to help yourself out, to find things and go from there. Please, if you're in the audience, this isn't, last thing we want to do is talk at you. We want to talk with you. You have questions, just raise your hand, blurt out. What we'll do up front, whether it's me or someone else, because we've got the virtual, the online also. So we'll repeat your question, try and clarify it and see if that answers. And online, please just type stuff in the chat. That's being monitored in the back by our folks at all times. So please type in questions and we'll address those in a somewhat real-time issue. I don't know if it'll be instantaneously, but it'll be pretty quick. So anyway, that's the start. This is our group. This is taken a while back when we kicked off the rebate program, which is something that we have for the members where they get money back by using our contracts. First time we've ever done it. So we'll talk about that in a slide here in just a second. Some of you may even notice Joanne in there. Our beloved Joanne was with us 20 plus years, retired to move on to greener pastures and spend more time riding her horses and doing other things. And so anyway, that's not the most up-to-date photo, but we liked it because it had the all the money bags on here. And we promised to have an updated photo in the near future. We've had a lot of new in and out and things like that, including a brand new person today. So we've got Choice Partners people learning along with you guys also. This is a little bit about what we're going to do. I need to try and make sure I keep mine to the 15 minutes. I know we started a few minutes late, but 10 to 10:15, kind of a little bit of intro, just a little quick thing on Choice Cash, which is what we call the rebate program. Talk a little bit about legal. I'm not sure if there were food folks in here, but we'll talk a little bit about the food contracts. There are probably some online with questions or just want to see the faces, the folks that are dealing with you from the food side in our group. Janet, we'll talk a little bit about navigating the website, how our MCE group, marketing client engagement group, can help you. Well, I always like to use the word help you help yourselves, because we're not, when you get the contract with us, if anybody in here is just brand new, you get the contract with us and it's not like orders just start flowing in. It's a tool to help you go and sell. And we want to help you do that also, help you sell your products and items using our contract. Stephen will talk a little bit about job order contracting, and then we'll close. Somewhere in the middle, we may or may not take a lunch break, just depending on when it arrives and things like that for the local people here in Houston. And again, it won't be a full lunch break. It may be 10 or 15 minutes to get food or come back or whatever, but then we may just be able to hold that off till the end also. That's kind of a touch and go depending on the arrival of things. All right. Contract is broader than HCDE. Sometimes people get our contracts and all they want to do is sell to Harris County Department of Ed, which is where we all work, but it's much broader than that. Anybody that's a school district, municipality, you can all read it, universities, colleges, things like that can use our contracts, not for profits. If they're not already a Choice Partners member, that's a very, very easy step also. It's something, we can talk about that a little bit and also talk with your contract manager or us in the future. You can add people and the contract is effective upon the first signature of the interlocal agreement signed between us and the other folks. And we'll tell you a little bit about how to do that. So in other words, you go somewhere and they say, I'm not on Choice Partners. and we verify that they're not, don't let that be a deterrent from you talking to them further and saying, hey, well, we've got goods and services. We'll hook you up with Choice Partners and let them talk about choice and get you going. So that's a very easy process. And I tell you, our most successful vendors, some of them, and in their heyday, were bringing us 20, 30 new members a month because they had a fleet of sales guys out there selling stuff and hitting areas we've never been in and bringing us new members and bringing them new sales. So just keep that in mind. Who knows what this means besides some of our seasoned vendors that have been with us for a long time? That's not a bad way. It actually, that's not exactly what it is, but hopefully that describes it. You want the trust. That's a good word. I was just looking for some audience involvement. What this is, and members understand this, in my opinion, a lot better, because this is basically how we do business. Vendors, I was a vendor before I came here, 30 years. I've hired and fired and sold and straight commission, salary, you name it. So this didn't mean anything to me, but the members understand this, because what this does is it incorporates, there's three legs to the transaction. One is the government entity, which is us, Choice Partners / HCDE, Harris County Department of Ed. And then the other governmental entity who you're going to sell to, if it's somebody besides us, we call them a member, CP member. And then everybody in this room is an awarded vendor. Basically, there's something called an interlocal agreement that's signed by and between the two governmental entities, allowing people you're calling on or dealing with to use our contracts. We basically go through the exact same process that whatever, Katy ISD, City of Houston, Harris County, just naming a lot of big local folks, Cy-Fair, same exact thing they do, but we have something on one of our contracts that they haven't done. They don't have to go through that 2, 3, 4, 5 month process on their own. They can just use our contract. It's already satisfied the legal and competitive aspect of transacting business. Okay, so that's really kind of this leg over here. And everything that you guys did to respond to the RFP is basically the awarded contract by and between Choice Partners, which is it's not terribly common that the co-op itself is full of a bunch of folks that work that are government employees. A lot of times it's a not-for-profit, it's a for-profit or whatever, and they kind of use a governmental entity as a lead agency. You mainly just have to have that contract between two governmental entities to basically share contracts. The one that's called the lead agency, which we are, and the one that's going to use your contract. And then there's the transaction that occurs when you guys actually make money, when you sell something. That's the bottom line. And I'm not going to go into a lot of the PO, job order, contracted services agreement. Stephen will cover that a little bit more later. Oh, Michael, I'm sorry, Michael Robles. That's right. He'll cover a little bit more of that later on in the slide presentation. Okay. Does anybody know who HCDE is? And anybody not know who HCDE is? I'm not picking on anybody. No idea? No idea? Okay, and that's perfectly fine. There's probably a lot of folks on the call also. There's nothing wrong with that. My badge right here says HCDE, Harris County Department of Education, but it also says Choice Partners. HCDE is the governmental entity that we work for. Choice Partners is one of the divisions within HCDE. HCDE is a county, it's a county school district. Actually, it's not a county agency, such as people always call us Harris County. For 5 years, my wife thought I worked for Harris County. Last 3, I think she thinks I work for HISD. She doesn't care, just as long as checks keep coming in and she gets to cash them, but I work for HCDE and she still doesn't get it. So I don't expect everybody in this room to get it right this minute either. But we're a governmental agency, been serving Harris County since 1889, been around for a couple years. Let's see, probably even older than me, but and we're also a taxing authority. Anybody who lives in Harris County, you look on your bill, you see, Cy-Fair ISD taxes, Harris County taxes, City of Houston, you'll see a little line on there that says HCDE. It's probably $50 or $100 or whatever. It's nothing compared to your thousands that you pay to the school districts or whatever, but it's a small taxing authority also. Oops, the pointer. And this is just a real quick, just a quick little picture, if you will, or graphic of what HCDE is. HCDE, we're basically, there are 254 counties in the state of Texas. You saw we started in the 1880s, something like that. Back then, they started making 254 county school districts. And that's all that was. Every county had its own school district back then. 254 county school districts. 253 of them have gone by the wayside. The only one left is the largest one in the state. I think it's like the third largest in the country, is Harris County. Harris County Department of Ed still stays here, but we don't have traditional schools. The county school districts all of a sudden started becoming all the ISDs that we all know in the state of Texas. Those 254 county school districts became whatever, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 school districts now. So I think in Harris County, there's probably about 24, 25 school districts served pretty much in the Harris County area. So, but HCDE has survived and thrived, and we have a number of divisions. And just the graphic, you can read as well as I can. We've got adult ed, we've got after school programs, the CASE, the therapy services, we've got Head Start programs, a number of different things that HCDE does as a governmental entity, all these different divisions. And then you'll see our little division right here, Choice Partners. So that's kind of a little graphic of who you're dealing with. Most people don't know, and they probably don't care. They just like, your contract's legal. Can I sell something? I want to get paid. I get it. But that's a little bit about who we are, and you'll hear a little more about why we do that in the future. A little bit about rebate program. We kicked this off this year, September 1. We won't pay any money out until probably December or so of this year. But the rebate program is alive and well. Everything you sell, the member can get a rebate on. So it's just another thing when you're talking to people, hey, I've got a legal compliant contract. You don't have to spend all that time and money. You don't have to go out and create all your own contracts. And oh, by the way, you get a little money back here also. It's something that we're not the first person to invent it, but other people do that. We've got a portal. We really rely on the members to send their POs in. We still have vendor reporting that's required. So that's kind of separate, unless I don't know if there are vendor portals. I don't know how far Janet's going to get into that, but right now, just do like you've always done, send in the monthly reports and go from there. But so it's a neat thing. We've had a lot of good feedback on it. We're going to kind of see how everything shakes out towards the end of the year, as far as thoughts and how much money we're looking to give back and how things work on that. Just want you to know that it's out there. It's about 6 or 7 months into the program. So everything, if you're a brand new vendor, it'll start when you start. If you've been with us forever, for a long time, it's for all your activities starting back September 1. All right. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to one of our contract managers, Steve Gibson. He's going to talk about kind of legal. Why do you even have a co-op? What the heck is a co-op doing? Why do you need us? I remember sitting in your seat thinking, who are these people? Why do I need these people? What good are they doing? And he's going to kind of cover, you always hear about that $500 hammer and all that. Well, we're hoping you don't sell hammers for $500, but. All right, enough of that. Anyway, okay, here's Steve Gibson.
Any unnecessary noise? How's that? Everybody hear me okay? So glad to be here. I was at the airport and a woman had passed out on the carousel. She's coming around though. All right. We'll go right into business foundations. Appreciate it. So we're here to talk about legal. My name is Steve Gibson. I been with Choice Partners 3 years now. I love it. And I was a member or worked for a member before I started working here. So one of the things I always appreciated was that this is a contract that's already done. I don't have to bid it. I don't have to compete it. If I need somebody to fix my roof today, I can get it done. I loved that because one of the things I think you miss as a contractor or as a supplier is how hard it is sometimes for government folks to do business with you because of the competitive procurement laws that we put on ourselves as a government entity. So Choice Partners had helped me out quite a few times. But yeah, it just makes it so much easier. Especially, you're a small district, you're out in the country, it can be very, very hard to find vendors. Okay, as a vendor with Choice Partners, even though they might not be there, but you have a contract with Choice Partners, they're in your service area, you're obligated. You have to ask those, you have to offer those same services to those people. That's a very, very good thing, but hopefully it works out in your benefit as well for the added volume that you get. You have 2,200 members across the country. This is your, these are your customers now. You should be able to, if you really put the effort into reaching them, you should be able to grow your business substantially. HCDE also, we use our contracts. So business foundation, both member and the vendor strive for a simple path to a successful transaction. As vendors, you want to reduce your cost of sales. And our members, they want to reduce their cost of procurement. And that cost is a lot more than you might realize. Both parties will benefit by using an existing contract and avoiding procurement delays. So at its essence, the cooperative contract is an agreement to supply IDIQ a predetermined product or service at a predetermined cost to a predetermined set of customers. That's our members. So in Fed government speak, IDIQ is an abbreviation: indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. Remember this, it'll be on the test. This is a type of contract that provides for an indefinite or an indefinite quantity of supplies during a fixed period of time. We try to get our contracts compliant to as many state and federal laws as we can, depending on the type of entity that you're doing business with. They will have different requirements, depending on the amount that can change, depending on the type of service that you're providing that can change. So we try to make our contracts compliant to all of those. And that's one of the reasons why they can do business with you so easily using the Choice Partners contract. You don't need to know this. We just put it there for reference. I get asked this a lot, how do I use this great legal knowledge to sell my contracts? And I say, well, just treat them like you would any other customer, meaning that you put the service first, you put your product first. The Choice Partners is it's a method of procurement. It's not necessarily a method of sales. You're going to sell to them just like you would any other client. What happens is after you've really made that sale, the rest follows through quick. These contracts are designed in most cases that they should be ready to purchase from you by the time they're talking to you. They might need a quote. They might need a scope specific estimate if you're in construction, but they should be ready to purchase. It's designed to work that quickly. So when you're working with them, I always think in orders of benefits, and the example I give is a layer cake. Your first layer of the cake, help the customer. You might not be the right person for them to talk to, but if you respond to them, at least you've started a conversation. There might be something later on that is up your alley. Gives you a chance to introduce yourself at least. So help the customer first. That's your first layer always. Second layer of the layer cake is help them get what they want. Then you've identified that you can help them. That's the next part. Help them get what they want from you. The last layer on that cake is to do it legally and compliantly. Yes, I've got what you want. Yes, I can take care of you. Oh, by the way, would you be interested that I quote you cooperative contracts and save you some time and money? That's the conversation you should have. Once you've identified that commonality and you know you can solve that problem, can I save you some money? We have a choice partners contract. Here, I can check and see if you're a member. We can show you how to do that. I think Janet might speak to that a little bit later on. So legally procured contracts, benefits to vendors, less time and risk per sale. If they're talking to you and they're saying, we want to use your choice partners cooperative contract, they're ready to buy in most cases. I'd say it'd be the vast, tiny fraction would be wanting to compare at that point. Usually they're using a choice partners contract because they don't want to compare. Repeat business would be another one. If somebody just has a small little thing, maybe they forgot to buy it on their first order, are they going to want to put out another RFP for it? No, they don't. They just want to get that done. This provides a method for it to do that. Single award potential for multiple entities. So you've competed, you've been awarded the choice partners contract. You have access to 2,200 of our members. They can all do business with you. They might not know that. And it's important when you're dealing with members to realize, just as there are many people in your organization, in their organization, there's lots of people, and they all have different knowledge. Not everybody who contacts you is going to be from the procurement department. And the procurement department's probably going to care about the how, but the stakeholder you're talking to is probably only cared about the what. More relationship sales, less RFPs to respond to. You should be able to propose on needs that are never bid out. Not to exceed pricing applies to all members and the pre-qualification factor as well. The one thing that's important to realize is that it really is a relationship sale, so you need to continue to build those relationships. Here's a slide on why your government customers are using cooperative purchasing. And this was a survey by the National Institute of Government Purchasing. The three top ones: lower prices, lower administrative cost, more favorable terms and conditions. Basically, you're in there solving a problem with the choice partners contract, and that's what we are. We're a tool to be able to solve this problem for them. Here's some other reasons why your government customers more and more are using cooperative purchasing. It's legal. Here are the two main codes. We get that project or purchase started immediately. Roofers, how many are doing roofing? No roofers in the room? Okay. Yeah, probably online, but when your customer needs a water leak fix, are they really excited about having 3 or 4 people come by to give them an estimate, especially like on a day like today? They're not. They want to get that problem solved. Established pricing, flexibility and convenience. Shifts the procurement resources to more complex or needed areas. That's a very important thing for government entities, that procurement department, their responsibilities are increasing, but their time is not. Time is the same. Sometimes their time is less because they're losing resources. Reduces your procurement cost and risk and gives you the chance to work with established vendors. When I was a buyer in Conroe, and I had a heck of a time trying to get vendors to come out to Conroe. To call the Houston market. Were they real excited about coming out to Conroe? Not really. So our contracts, this is just a summation. I know for you it's real specific. For the purchasing departments that you're working with, they use us because we cover a lot of different areas. So we cover food and cafeteria contracts, technology contracts, commodity contracts, service contracts, and facilities contracts, including construction. we have a lot of contracts that our members are constantly using. Remember, the member has a lot of stakeholders. So you might need to educate your stakeholders. That's okay. If you spend any time with your contract manager, even after this meeting, you will probably know more than most of your stakeholders. Those in the purchasing department might have a little bit more knowledge, but they'll know more about the regulation side of it. That's not really your area. Your area is just trying to help them solve whatever problem they're going through. Okay, as I promised, there is a quiz. And I have a couple giveaways. Let me see which questions we should give them away on. All right, I'm going to give these away on number 2 and number 6. Number 2 and number 6. I only have 2 bags here. Okay. I'm so glad you had this. All right, so question number 1. Is it appropriate? Oh, this is true or false. It's appropriate to offer better pricing discounts to choice partners than contracted pricing. True or false? Awesome, you got it. All right, that was your warm up. So now is the prize question. By the way, these numbers in our RFP document contract, this is where you will find that. Number 2, it's permitted to add the CP fee to the quotation. True. Who was the first person who said false? There you go. Thank you, Kay Davis. Job. Question number 3, pricing may be changed at any time during the contract period. False. I think that was you. Congratulations. Thank you. I don't have a prize yet. Number 4, new items may be added to the contract pricing catalog. A, anytime. B, at renewal. Or C, following approval from HCDE. The correct answer, who said A? You got it. Kay Davis again. You guys are on a roll. Awesome. All right. You can add new items. There is, if you read the contract carefully, and do read the contract, it has to be something that's a new introduction, and you have to do it proportionally. So if you've offered something at a 10% discount, you can't offer it at a 2% discount. You would have to be consistent. So you kind of have to keep the margin the same, but yes, you can do it at any time. And you would do that via your contract manager. Just send us an email. Okay, vendors' standard terms and conditions, we're on number 5, do not apply when using the choice partners contract. True or false? Anybody else? Man, Kay Davis Group is on a roll here. You guys are awesome. False. It is false. Yes. The way that works is we refer to that as a supplemental contract. These supplemental contracts are very important for your business because we can't cover every one of your terms and conditions in our contracts. We have way too many different categories of contracts. And all those terms and conditions are completely different. Anybody do business with a staffing company and ever looked at one of their terms and conditions? Yeah, it's a lot. It's very important. You have to continue the kind of continuity of doing business in the way that you do business. Just because you're doing business with a government entity doesn't mean that you have to abandon your terms and conditions. All right, prize question number 6, last one. And this is an A or B. What does IDIQ stand for? A. You got it. Is it, what's the name of the company? Eon Electrical. Plug for Eon Electrical. Well done. Well done.
Very good job. Sit. All right. You know, I think I lose the range on this when I walk over there, and I think that's what happened with the other one. Okay, I'm just about through. Got a little bit more to cover. Reporting requirements. This is in section 28. You do need to report your sales to Choice Partners. And we have a spreadsheet. If you don't have one, if you have a login, you can download it off of the choicepartners.org website. You do need to be logged in as a vendor. Otherwise, reach out to your contract manager. We can email it over to you. You would send that report, when your sales are final. We don't really want something where we're going to have to make accounting entries to later. We're not really staffed for that. Depending on your catalog. If you were in construction, you would send that to facility reporting at choicepartners.org. If you were in food, school food, send it to food reporting at choicepartners.org. Anything else, send it to supply reporting at choicepartners.org. So that'd be commodities and services. Generally try to get this to us by the 15th of the month for the previous month. This is what that reporting form looks like. So pretty basic. Company name, put the period, an email address. So if we need to get back in touch with you about it, then we just need these 4 or 5 fields. So how many dollars, the member name, date, purchase order number, and the contract number. And if you have any questions or your data doesn't align perfectly, just get with your contract manager and let us help you with that. For construction, it looks a little bit different. Stephen can talk more about this, but it's based on the project. So the timing should be done by the project rather than by the month. And for food reporting looks almost exactly the same as the commodities. And this is our checklist. So just remember the cycle. You've been awarded, you're selling. After a few months, we'll kind of gather all your totals together and we'll put an invoice together and send you that invoice for the administrative fee. And then that just goes through your accounts payable. They pay us, and that's kind of the cycle on how it works. I think I'm done here. So I really want to say I appreciate everybody's time and attention. And I'm going to turn it over next to Tricia. She's with our food group. She's going to introduce her team and talk a little bit about the food side.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad you're all here. I know there's nobody in here that has a food contract, right? But there are some online, so I'm gearing it towards online. And maybe you'll learn something. So my name is Tricia Prestacoma. I'm an assistant director here, and I handle all food cafeteria contracts. I brought them up because I have all new staff and I'm fully staffed. So this is an exciting time. This is Monica Niles. And where was the Ashley Kane, and this is Miss Rosie Contreras. So you may be seeing especially emails from Rosie because she'll be doing the invoicing and billing for the food. So anyways, welcome to sit down now. It hasn't happened in a while, y'all, that we've been fully staffed. So it's kind of a big to do. There's not a lot to say. I just want to talk about a little bit. These are the contracts we have under the food side. All of our contracts, except for one, are USDA and TDA compliant. I also wanted to remind everyone that we do in the fall every year, we do 2 shows. We do a food show, which is October 18th at the Humble Civic Center. And then the vendor exhibit, which a lot of you would be invited to here in person, is the 19th of October, the next day. So mark your calendars. It's the one for October 19th is usually purchasing directors, their staff, and maintenance operation. And then the one for food is, of course, child nutrition staff and students. So You will get, we'll send out invitations later on as it gets closer. So anyways, once again, thank y'all for attending. And Janet's going to come up and talk to you about the website.
Okay, if y'all will give me just a minute, because I use my hands, so that'd be good. I don't have any place to put it. Is it on? Okay, and this is forward and backwards. Good morning and welcome everybody. And just to tease Steve, just a titch. Steve stood up here and told all y'all what a wonderful tool you can be to help everybody, but I don't think he was calling y'all a tool. It was really because I said that to somebody one time about what a great tool you are to help. And they looked at me, are you really calling me that? So Steve is a great boost to our team here. So we just want to say thank you and welcome again. I am Janet Walks, but I work in another division than Choice Partners, but in support of Choice. I am the marketing connection for them. And so we see emails coming from us, newsletters, other things like that. That's what my division does. I have Andre Cuellar that helps me with that. Our director, Stephanie De Los Santos, and we all come behind Choice to get out their message. But we also work with our vendors as strongly as we do our members to be sure that you get the most out of your contract. So I don't know, Andre, if you can stand up, you want to come over here and wave hi to everybody? Just so they'll know this is part of our team. He's a strong member here. Stephanie's out just today, but just wanted y'all to know this is where a lot of our help comes from in the marketing division. But what I want to start with too is much of the marketing that I do here is going to require you to be familiar with your contract manager. And we never ever want you to leave this meeting without knowing who your contract manager is. So if y'all would come to the front, is Steve still here? Y'all, Michael and Monique, and Tammy, if y'all will come up here. You did just see Trisha and her group, so that's one contract system, and she and Ashley takes care of her contracts and be working. We have Michael Robles here. He's in charge of this meeting today. We have Monique Francis, and we also have Tammy, forget the last name because she's brand new. Cyrus, I'm so sorry. But y'all need to get familiar with them. So when we break after this meeting for lunch and y'all online, give them a shout out via email or pick up the phone and ask to talk to them. You now have a face with the name to know who's going to help you utilize your contract the best, how to get things done and move forward. Like they were talking about if you had anything new to add, or if you want to streamline, do your description online, anything like that, your contract managers are the ones who will do that for you. So thank y'all for coming up and just want y'all to get to know. So one of the things we like to start with too is, where do you begin? Many of you in here, I think, might be relatively new. I just talked to someone from Dilly Letter Jackets. And oh, howdy. Oh, we got two jackets. Oh, good. Then I'll be double warm today, right? Y'all can get us a letter jacket. So yes, we have some new people, and we also have some that have been here before. But it always is good to hear things over and over. Thank you, Butler, and a few others. That the more you hear, the more you go, oh my gosh, that's something I want to incorporate. Or I always thought about that. So if you are here online or you're here in person and you think, oh, there's somebody else that I wanted to come, or we're having a staff increase in the next quarter or so, you can send as many of your sales reps or internal people that you want to come. So the more knowledge that you have of what your power is through your CP contract, the better you're going to have the results from it. I've had vendors ask me, what am I supposed to do with it? Now I got it. Administration did that, but I'm out in the field. That's what we're here to help you. So we get started with, where do you begin? And where you begin is right with, like they say, a bird in the hand. Start with the customers that you have right now. But remember, to be a member of our co-op and to use your contract must be a governmental entity or a nonprofit organization. So if you have a customer list, you can go through there right away and discern which one is and isn't, create your own list just to sell to the choice partner contract. But don't stop there. You always want to increase what you have. So you want to teach all your sales reps and yourself any inside sales. You get a call from somebody who falls in either one of those categories, they can become a member. And you want to train your staff on how to make that move over. Steve talked about how you could do it with saying, oh, you called me, you'd like to save some money. I can share with you the choice contract, but you have to qualify them that they're governmental entity or nonprofit. You say, okay, so does a governmental entity, does just mean a city or something? No, you have cities, school districts, counties, universities, colleges, and any nonprofit. A hospital can be a nonprofit, but you have to qualify it. There are some private schools that are nonprofit. Qualify it. And best way to qualify it, you can either call them and ask them, look online. If they have a 501c3 status, taxing status, they generally are. But you can always call and just talk to their CFO or look online. So don't limit yourself into who your customers can be and where you can start something new to sell. So that's members and non-members. But what is another way? We're all in sales. My background was in sales, and I did work for a couple of vendors that were awarded by choice. So I sat in the seat you did for a long time. It was fun, and that's why it was easy to switch over to be inside and support the team another way. So referrals. We all know that that's it. And a referral isn't just I'm at company A and they tell company B, or my neighbor is talking about, oh, they use this company. Go, oh, I'm going to go check and see if my company can use that. A referral can also come internally. So if you're working with a school district or a city or a county and you're in one department, don't limit yourself to just talking to like technology department or just the admin center. Go out to the transportation division, go out to somebody who does, like I said, the technology and any other silo within one organization. You can sell anywhere. There isn't a limit to that, So I would say the example would be copy paper. Who doesn't use that, even though we're trying to save trees, but we still use it. Every division in any company would want that. So try and train your staff to think outside the box with that regard. Now, can you collaborate with other choice partner organizations? Do you think that, other awarded vendors? Do you think you could do that? I like it. Keep nodding. Yes, you definitely can. How would you do it, sir? Have you thought of somebody who might work that way with you? Or are you just saying it's a possibility? It is. Well, he's right. I don't have any presents, but thank you so much for coming. So I give you a curtsy and that's about all I've got. But I can tell you that if you were the one that was selling the copy paper and you got with somebody who was selling copiers, boom, y'all are done. What if they say, I just had somebody tell me they're buying 10 new ones because they're increasing this building. And with it, what comes with 10 copy papers, 10,000 loads of copy. With 10 copiers, you need 10,000 loads of paper. So yes, think of different ways you could do that. Yes, sir.
Is there a way you have social hours where you introduce all the different partners, your vendors, that kind of thing?
I was just going to say, the comment was, or the question was, do we have a social hour, a way to mix with each other and that sort of thing? My first thought is socialize a lot today. You do get lunch, but we are a governmental entity, and to do something that would include imbibing of certain liquid beverages would probably not be something we could ascertain, but you are more than happy to go online. All of the contact information for any vendor, including yourself and anyone else, is freely accessible on the website. Call them up, say, let's go hang out. I want a burger and a Coke, and let's go talk about how we're going to do this together. And I'm going to keep it up there. Whatever you do on the deal is for y'all, right? Okay. All righty. But we encourage that because all it does is lend strength to your credibility. If you partner now, if you're a new vendor, and you partner with an older vendor that's been here, an experienced vendor, we'll say, then they're going to be able to say, oh, look what I learned, or have you thought about this? And then they're going to say, well, I might just bring you along on one or two of my sales calls, because you're not competing, you're supporting each other, and you're still both awarded. So what you're doing with the member is just giving them double opportunity to save money. It's a great win-win-win. Yes, ma'am. That's what Tricia just announced. So the comment was our annual choice partner vendor extravaganza, we call it exhibit, and it's very big. It's out at the Humboldt Civic Center here in the Houston area. Y'all from out of town are welcome to come. Y'all that are here, welcome to come. And it is another great way to socialize and get yourself out there. I'm going to get to that too, because that's part of what's required in your contract. So I want to tell you about the vendor login. This you need to get from your staff person that responded to the RFP where you were awarded. Most vendors have only one login. And if you don't know what it is, go back to your admin or go to your contract manager, and then they can help you get it. Because once you get the login, this is where you go. This is the backbone of our website. It's the vendor dashboard. And this is where you're going to get 90% of what you need to take with you to go out. Now, everything else is on you to sell your own, but we have marketing resources, a list of members, and a list of vendors. So you can get that. This is the eBid system. So it's just right where you need to be to get the information to get started. But again, get that login from the admin person within your company, and or call your contract manager and they can help you out. This is where you go when you hit that page that says marketing resources. And this is where I come in. And we want you to know, if you're new to selling to governmental entities and nonprofits, it could be a different way you need to approach prospective customers to talk about it. And so we have given you a couple of tips here where it says tips to market to governmental entities. We also have this number right here is my number. So you can call and say, does this fly? Does this work? If it's not a contract question, I can help you. If it's a contract question, then you need to go straight to your contract manager. In the state of Texas, we have divided, our Texas Education Agency has divided the state into 20 regions. Occasionally you might hear a member or another vendor speak up, well, I'm in region 20, or I'm in region 4, or I'm in, this sort of thing. We have put a list right here where you can get those regions. It's not really relative to you unless you restricted where you sell. When you responded to the RFP, you put in there, I want to be national, I want to sell just in Texas, or I only want to go into certain regions. And so we put it there just as an extra tool to receive information about how the state's divided up. So you can see some of the other things here, but I just want you to know, when you go to the dashboard, marketing resources, right here is a button, and that's where you're going to start. Now, one of the things that are required in your contract is that you do display our seal. This is right up here. This seal needs to be displayed on your website. That seal needs to be linked back to your landing page within our website. What is the landing page? It's your own mini website within the Choice website. So you'll have all kinds of information on there, including a description of your company and what you offer, and you can author that yourself. If you don't provide what you want under the describe or what about this vendor, then your contract manager has to pull the information together from what was submitted on the bid. So if you want to author it yourself, maybe embellish on something or talk about something new, be sure and contact them and say, hey, could you put this up there? It'll be good. It's great. The other thing is conference participation. So where Heather was talking to y'all about our annual meeting, that is one time that you exhibit, but you're required in your contract to exhibit 5 different times. And we do have a list on our under About Us tab on the home page. You can drop down to events and you'll see where we are going ourselves to exhibit. We go to probably almost 50 or more a year, plus some small ones off and on that might not be listed, but we are going out ourselves. But we need you individually to bring your representation to various exhibit opportunities. It could be a conference, it could be a convention. You might know of one that's relative to your product or service that we don't go to, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't, because that's where you're going to find new members, new customers, new sales, right? So you want to get that done. If you need help with your marketing, we can do that too. We'd be happy to share. Contact your contract manager or me, and we'll get it started. You also have the opportunity to do ads in state publications, because in Texas, we do have some. You might be in another state and you'd like to try that. Contact us and we'll move it forward, or any other kind of targeted emails. I'm going to talk to you about that at another time, where you actually have the opportunity to have us give you information on our members that could help you do your own special targeting market. Now, on the resource tab, so we're still on that same page, marketing resources. You come down below and you're going, well, okay, you're requiring the seal. Where do I get it? Ta-da! It's right here. And with it comes some options, whether you need it in an EPS form or JPEG, PNG. Some people need it even different than that. We can help you with that, because that's the design that we can do. So I have my number and email there. You can reach out to us and let us know what you're looking for. Generally, a JPEG or PNG is what you need on your website, and it functions just fine. But everything is available on that marketing resources page. If your company does not give you access to that login, just make sure that the admin in your company that has it goes to this page and familiarizes themselves with it, and or says, I need something more, and then you can reach out to me. Now, we offer something that I don't know if any of the other co-ops do, but we find it not just beneficial to get the name Choice out there, but it advertises you in a major way at no additional expense. We have a monthly newsletter, and the lead story is almost always about a vendor. So you go, whoop, whoop. We post it on our website. That's worldwide coverage. Even if you only sell in one state or one region, or you're national, that's worldwide coverage. So it's posted on there. You get with your contract manager after you have closed 3 or more deals with different members, and it's been paid for, completed, and everybody's satisfied. Then you validated yourself and you're doing your reporting. So there's some things we check internally. You reach out to your contract manager and you say, I'd like to be one of those vendors. I'd like to be featured. So the contract manager will do some due diligence on you after they see, oh yes, they've used them here and here. They've reported, the customer is happy. We've been, satisfied with contractually, and then it's approved. Then my department, Andrea and I, take over, and then we'll send you a set of questions. We can get some interview question answers and pictures, and then we put together and craft the article, and you're the lead story for that particular month. Now, there's only 11 times we produce Leader's Choice, because in the month of March, we take off because it's a spring break. It's a whole month. A whole week. So it shortens the month, and business-wise, it just doesn't work. So you have 11 times, but then there are a couple of those months that we will run special articles, like when we have our vendor appreciation, or if we do something like that. But still, 10 times out of a year, you have the opportunity to be the lead spotlighted feature that gets posted on their website. So it's worldwide. Plus, we can print that and put that in the hands of our field reps when they go to conferences. So they have more that they're putting it actually in people's hands. And, picture speaks 1,000 words. Customers get excited. They go, oh, now I see what you're saying. Plus it gets emailed to every member and every vendor. Now, you're saying, well, I didn't get it. If you're experienced or someone who's been with us for a while vendor, it might just go to a few people in your organization. And then you go back to those that are listed on the page and say, can you share that with me? I'm not getting that, but I want it so I can share it. You can send it via email, resend it out to other members. This is a tool in your hands that would cost a lot of money if you had to go through an actual advertising agency. So we want you to be able to take care of that. All right. Now, this is the one we were talking about, doing targeted emails. We can offer you, we have a database in marketing that has members' names, addresses, and emails. We have field reps that go out there and regularly touch base with them. We have contract managers that might reach out to them. So we keep notes on that, so we're all together, but we keep that database. If you, as a vendor, would like to go out and do a special targeted market for, maybe you're having a spring fling sale, or maybe you have a new piece of equipment that you'd like to spotlight, you draft the flyer or the email, or if you're just going to do a phone campaign, you draft the script that you're going to use, and you get it first sorry, let me back up. First, you reach out to your customer, your contract manager, and say, I'd like to get a list. And they're going to say, there's a couple of things I have to check first. So they'll go to your website and ensure that you have that seal on there, the CP seal, not our logo. You're not supposed to use our rectangular logo. That's only for us. You use the circular CP seal. You linked that already back to your landing page, which is your own page within our website. And you have a marketing piece. And you tell the contract manager, I have everything done. They'll go check, then they'll give you a link. And that's where you get the online request form to say, I want this. And it's not just I want this, I want that. You literally have to pick and choose. Do you want all of the US? Do you just want Texas? Do you want facilities, or do you just want technology, or do you just want food? We give you tools to be able to hone in exactly on what makes your contract work. And then you upload whatever marketing piece you're going to use, and it comes to me in the email. And Andrea and I take a look at it. I'll review it for making sure that you have done the correct verbiage regarding choice. Now, you talk about exactly what you want to say about your own product and service. I'm not going to do that unless grammatically I see something that could be better. But you define that and you use the graphics you want. But I'm going to review it because we've had some new vendors that unfortunately weren't aware, and they call themselves, hey, I'm a new member, come work with me. No, it doesn't quite work that way. You are a vendor, and they go, I just got approved, y'all come on over. We're going to train y'all right now and tell you for your benefit, don't use the word approved. You were actually vetted because you had to respond to an RFP, and we had a group look at you. You were reviewed and you were vetted for good quality and high marks. That's a great thing. You were awarded, and it cost your company nothing. So you did not buy your way into this co-op. They need to know that, and we're here to support that to the community. So we want to just make sure that the verbiage you use best reflects your relationship with us. And then when we approve that, we can pull the list and you tell us, oh, I don't need emails, I just want phone number. I want everything, give me it all. And we'll be happy to do that. But it all goes through your contract manager. And that's why I had them come up to the front. So you can put a face to a name and get sure, be sure to know who you're talking with. Are there any questions on that? Can you see the benefit to it? It's huge. You're not having to contract with another marketing agency to do something that we're offering. I don't want to say for free, but it's part of your admin fee, but it's a strong potential part of your admin fee that's going to boost your presence in the community and your use of the contract. So one of the things that can also be a training tool for your sales reps and or yourselves is to teach the potential customer, if they're already a member, how to get a login. They have to log in just like you as a vendor have to log in. Members have their own member dashboard. If they can't even access that, and depending on where you go, there's some that never even heard of it or thought about it, you want to educate them on how to open up their website or their access to the member dashboard so they can use all of their member benefits and get to your contract sooner. So it's very, very easy. If you see down here, there's a little line that says set up a new account. If they have no login at all, you send them there and you walk them through the steps of registering, and then you've got a member that's starting to build a trust relationship with you, which is needed in sales, as well as giving them the tools to move forward. Now, this is what the member dashboard looks like. Very similar to y'all's, but different use of the buttons. And this is where we have the contract list that lists everyone that was awarded. We get an e-list of the vendors, and this is where they can go and find your landing page and get your contact information. On a vendor landing page, I'm going to show you in a minute, you want to make sure that the person listed is current and that email is up to date and looked at every day. Because when they use the get a quote button, that's where the quote's going to go, is to the person that's on your landing page. So ensure that's up to date. Order portal. This is about all I'm going to say about the rebate program, because at this point in time, we still need vendors to respond in the way you have, and that's by emailing in your report. It's possible in the future, we might move to an electronic way that you can do it online. But for right now, we have the members able to upload any POs that they've given you. So it benefits you to do your order reporting concisely and currently so that they match up, because this will help the member get their rebate. We no longer have a supply catalog. It just ended, but we had already printed this, so we'll move on from there. This is what a landing page can look like for a vendor. So each one of you have this, and it'll have the company name, it'll have the contract manager, and it'll also have your website and the area that you're responsible for. So you can see this particular one actually says Region 4 is their primary coverage, but they can cover the whole state of Texas. So all of that was decided by whoever responded to your RFP. If that changes for any reason, and Jeff, I believe you can bear this out, that if we had somebody that was only for Texas and they wanted to go national, they can do that, just notifying their contract manager. Is that correct? All day long. So we would take that because we have, excuse me? It's not contractual. It can be done anytime. And we are looking to expand in that realm, and we have many more national contracts now. So don't limit yourself. If your company is growing and really finds the contract useful, you want to get that changed so that, again, this is on the World Wide Web. Anybody can look at it and go, bingo, want to use it, and we'll just get some members there. But this is what I'm talking about. Usually you only have 1, 2, and possibly 3. This one just went to town. But it's the first person that is listed that's going to get the email that says, get a quote response from a member of Choice Partners is reaching out to your company and needs an answer. Okay, so if that email has changed in any way, and I would put the onus on you, even if somebody in the office is supposed to be checking it, things happen, they change quickly. If you see that whoever's name that is has just left, or they got promoted or moved over sideways to a different, and that should be updated to a new name, do it quickly, because that's where you're going to get your warm to hot leads when somebody puts in a get a quote. Now here's another one, and you can see what we've done here with the due diligence that's right here. We try and be extremely transparent at Choice. And so be it known that every one of you, how you responded in your information on the RFP is there because our members need that in support of a purchase order requisition. So we have to give to them what they need so the order can go through. But we want you to see what our members are seeing. And this is where I was saying you can actually describe yourself. And if you don't like what's written or you want to massage it some or add to it a little differently, please feel free to do that. But again, you've got to know your contract manager to move that forward. This is the get a quote, and this is what it looks like to a member. They pick the category, then they pick who of the vendors they want. And yes, if they need to, because the requirement of 3 or more quotes could be put on them by their organization, then they can do it, but they could do all 3 through Choice. So we don't want you to feel like you're competing, but you could have something that the other vendor doesn't have exactly what they need, but they have to have it there. They put in a description here, their name tells anything they have a picture of or specifications they can upload. And here they tell you when they need that product or service in-house. So that's going to be some of the best tools you as a vendor could need. Because when I was a vendor, we could supply a lot of things. But if they needed it like 3 weeks before I could get it to give it to them, then I would then respond to them. And this helps them too. Respond and say, I love what you have asked for. Yes, we have exactly what you're looking for. However, you know, and now we know supply and demand is a little different, and delivery, we can't get that to us until 2 weeks after you're asking for it. Do you have any leniency? Can I still participate? They like interaction. That shows that you're interested in meeting their need and moving forward. So at least respond, and then when it hits submit, you get a copy of their request and they know who they've sent it to. This is the rebate program. Jeff did talk about that. So I'm thinking I'd like to go here to events. And this is where I was telling you, if you touch this, you can see here, it talks about the conference that we're getting ready to go to in California next week. But if you hit the drop down, you'll also see the most recent newsletter. So you can go there and look at it yourself to get samples of what was done in January and February for where we spotlighted vendors or we spotlighted an event for choice partners. And it's out there for everyone to access. Now, I'm going to say the FAQs that we have on our website, it's on the homepage under the tab called About Us. The best way for you to get to know your contract and our organization is to read those, because when you or your sales reps are out there, you might be able to find at least 50 to 75% of their answers right here from the FAQs. And it's a great way. It's in writing. You can send the prospective customer there. And that shows them that it's not like you made it up on the spot, that it's vetted and it's available to them. So you want to use that. So this kind of gives you a clue right here under About Us, all of these different things. And presentation button, what you're seeing today, what you're hearing now, is going to have a recording and the PowerPoint uploaded right there under About Us at presentations, and you can pick it up so that you can follow up and say, oh, I want to rehear that again, or I want to review that with someone else. Oh, staff contact information is again under About Us. Go down to where it says Contact Us. Everybody's name will turn into an email, or you have their phone number. We want to be available for you. So please take advantage of that. And then I just have a few takeaways too. Please review the vendor dashboard and make yourself familiar with it. If it's possible, ask your administrator if you can get your own login, and then you can always go there and get what you want. Review the marketing resource page and take advantage of all the support that we're offering. And be sure and train your staff on how to share, how to get a login ID with our members, because members change personnel and staff. So even if you train somebody once, 6 months later, there might be a new person there. Let them know. And remember that it's your contract managers that have the link to get a request for a marketing contact list of our members. Are there any questions? Because I have one last thing to go to. Everything sound good? No questions online, Tricia? Wonderful. So at this point, if you're not a construction vendor and you need to go do something else, you are able to leave, but this is what we'd like you to do. There's a QR code right here. You can scan it, or for those in person, there's one on the desktop in front of you. If you would take a short survey so that we can have some feedback on how we're doing and what your needs are, we would appreciate that. If you're going to stay with us through the JOC presentation, just give us a minute or two and Stephen Kendrick will be up here. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so we're gonna, real quick, before we get started for just about a short time, we're gonna introduce our field reps that are in attendance here real quick and kind of tell you these guys are out there to help you. We always say help you, help yourselves, help you sell more, help you increase your business. In the past, our field reps have concentrated a lot more on members, but we want them spending time with vendors. If there's anything they can do to help, maybe they know somebody or they can find information out or whatever on various members you're trying to work with. They may help you also even go with you. There's a few that are not here, but I'm going to ask them to come up real quick for just a second and introduce you and tell you a little bit about where they're covering. All right, I guess we'll start here with Miss Heather Faulkner. Heather is in Pflugerville. No. Pflugerville. She'll handle a lot of the Central Texas area, Dallas, Austin, that type area. She's got a lot of experience. She's worked for one of our vendors. She understands that side of the life. So also worked for one of our competitors for many, many years. So she understands the co-op, probably a lot of questions you may have as far as doing business. She may be a great resource also. Louise Hooper. Louise is in, I'm sorry. He's like, well, are you doing something wrong with this thing? Keeps fading out. But Louise is in the DFW area, and she actually has worked with us on the HCDE side for a long time in the past also. A very good resource, working with a lot of vendors and members in that area also. So if some of you guys are here physically from Houston, you've got your national in scope or whatever, we'd love you to work with some of our folks in the other areas also. Bethany Webster is here in the Houston area. Spending a lot of time with members, some vendors, but also a great resource available to go out to help answer questions, go out, visit with any of you guys local here or even online if you're local, just couldn't make it in today. And Guy Wallace is brand new. We're getting him up to speed, but he will be a resource also here in the Houston area. Will be a resource helping on the member and vendor side, both down the way. We've got a couple that aren't here also, but please use these guys. That's what they're there for. Let us allow these folks to help you help yourselves. Thanks.
Good afternoon. This is my first time doing the JOC presentation, so bear with me. I'm probably going to say some things that don't make sense. That's just how I am. My name is Michael Robles, and I'm one of the contract managers here at Choice Partners. Been here about going on 5 years. So let's begin. So these are our objectives for this brief period of time. Why JOC? Maintenance versus construction, concepts including JOC trade, quoting versus bidding, and then how to legally use your JOC or job order contracting contract. Hopefully this applies to a lot of you guys that are here, that are still here. I know we just awarded a full-blown JOC contract, so pay attention closely so we can try to answer your questions. Why does legal compliance matter? When dealing with JOC contracting, you have to follow 2269 as well as the other laws that are there. And different procurement rules apply. Public works contracts may trigger bonding and prevailing wage requirements. And legal mistakes when incorrectly using JOC contracts could definitely increase your budget when working with members. Obviously, you want to be on track with your budget. Could jeopardize, result in overgrown costs. And mostly we're here to support our members. Making sure that our contracts are legally compliant, making sure you're following those statutes definitely makes it for our members when we write these contracts. Anything else to add for why we would have legal compliance?
Yeah, so what I will add is that a lot of what we're telling you today is not specific to Choice Partners. This is actually state law and federal law. You should, if you have these types of contracts with other cooperatives, you should be doing the exact same thing. Okay, this is not Choice Partner specific. The 98% of it is state law. The one thing he didn't hit on, subject governmental entities to financial liabilities to vendors and subcontractors. We have a lot of members, a lot of your clients do not know when they need to get bonds. Do they need a payment bond or a performance bond? And if something ever goes wrong in the project, then they're not protected and they're actually breaking the law.
So time and material is no longer allowed with JOC contracts. If provided construction services, best reason why we do job order contracting. Of course, the government code is 2269, and all of our pricing has to be done with the unit price book, RS means, 4 clicks, any of those unit price books. But we can do time and material for trades contracts, correct? As long as there's maintenance involved?
Yeah, so Choice Partners offers 2 types of contracts. The first one is a trade-specific JOC. That means you were awarded to do 1, maybe 2 or 3 divisions out of the price book. The other one is a construction JOC. That's a general contractor, okay? That one does not allow time and material whatsoever. full-blown jock contract, if that's what you have, if you're a general contractor, only allows the unit price book with your coefficient. Now, if you got under a trade jock, maybe it's roofing, maybe it's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, maybe it's athletic surfaces, whatever it may be, if it's a single trade, we gave you the opportunity to give us time and material pricing for maintenance and service only, not construction, okay? If you provided it. So we gave you the opportunity. If you did not provide it, then it's not available to you. Okay, if you did provide it, then if your client deems the project to be maintenance, then you can use that pricing structure.
So looking closely at what the JOC definition is, a procurement method used for maintenance, repair, alteration, renovation, mediation, or minor construction of facilities when the work is recurring in nature, but delivery types are indefinite. There's no quantities. You don't know the quantities yet. You don't know when the project's going to be completed yet. You don't know when the work's going to happen. So we do these contracts ahead of time so that when the member does have an available contract, they could use your choice partners contract and do the work. But by definition, JOC, it's indefinite and there are no times, types, and quantities. When looking at maintenance versus construction, we always like to compare, like for like. New construction or upgraded. I know Stephen always does the comparison. If it's new construction, it has to be, I forget.
I'll jump in. All right, so there's three factors that a governmental entity is supposed to consider when determining if the project's maintenance or construction, okay? These are the three factors. The first one is like for like, which was defined as not new or upgraded, okay? I like to pick on HVAC guys on this one. Sorry if you're an HVAC. But the deal is that if you have a 300-ton train chiller and you're replacing it with a new 300-ton train chiller, is it like for like? And a lot of people will say, yeah, common sense says it's like for like. It's 300 tons, it's train. We're just taking out the old unit, putting in the new unit, we're good to go. Except that it's defined as not new or upgraded. Are you maintaining the existing unit to keep it running in its originally designed state? Or are you replacing it? A replacement is considered construction. Okay. Plus, is it truly like for like? I mean, does the train chiller of today operate off the same technologies of a 25-year-old chiller? No. Does it have to meet new energy codes? Yes. Is it supposed to be engineered? Yes. Does it exceed 25,000 and require payment bond? Yes. Does it exceed 100,000 and require performance bond? Yes. And as you can see, it falls under construction. As far as legal procurement for governmental entities, that would be considered construction. Second one is scale and complexity of the project. And the third one is the physical size of the object being worked on. Scale and complexity. There was a city and they wanted to repaint a bridge. Bridge has already been painted once. It's fading. They're wanting to maintain it by repainting it. The same paint, same colors. Is it maintenance? That's right. The judge ruled it was not maintenance because of the scale and complexity of the project. Because they had to protect from spraying over other people's cars, on businesses, buildings. There was all kinds of fall risks involved. And they deemed that the scale and complexity was so large for that project, it did not fit the definition of maintenance. Last one is the physical size of the object being worked on. And I like to pick on the roofers here. The deal is if you've got a 10 by 10 shed that you keep your lawn equipment in, and you're going to replace half that roof, you can probably get away with maintenance. You're using the same shingles, you're not replacing the whole roof. Scale and complexity are very low, physical size is very low. But now I'm going to take that exact same example and apply it to a 500,000 square foot high school. And now I've got rooftop units, I've got vents, I've got penetrations, I've got sloping of the roof, I've got curbs that I've got to mop in. And all of a sudden you can see that the scale and complexity dramatically increased, as well as my physical size. And that throws it over into construction. To understand a job order contract, the definition includes maintenance. You can do construction or maintenance under a job contract. If you have a time and material only maintenance contract, you can only do maintenance, which is very, very narrowly defined. I mean, that's like changing filters, tightening or replacing belts, replacing a burned up contactor. It is not replacements of entire equipment. Does that make sense? Or entire systems. All right.
So going back to the choice partners, CP member and awarded vendor diagram. Again, this really is just trying to connect the dots. Now you've got an awarded contract. Now you can use your CP contract number and work with the member directly. If you're working with a member that's not a part of Choice Partners, it's very easily to get them to be a member. And it's a win-win for all. Jobs procured by purchasing cooperatives doesn't apply just to Choice Partners, applies to the other cooperatives as well. This is the only method that is you're allowed to select the contractors for the future for undefined projects. It's written in 2269. I will say with this, we do recommend doing a supplemental contract as well as using the Choice Partners contract. There is certain examples where Stephen can probably tell you about it, where in nature, you want to make sure you have one signed document that is signed by the member and signed by you as the vendor. That way you both are covered. And then what's the IDIQ JOC estimate? Estimate must contain the CP contract number, must have the unit price book estimate that goes along with it. On the particular estimate, you have to make sure that it has the CCI that's localized for that area. So if you're working in Houston, there's a code just for Houston. And you have to use your legally bid coefficient. And then since most of you probably are awarded on the full-blown JOC, if you're using a subcontractor, you're responsible for making sure the subcontractor uses the unit price book as well. This would be an example of what a estimate would look like in RS means. You've got your different columns, your description, your line item. So you have your line item. So you have to be careful because when you're working with members, a lot of times the members will ask for us to review the your estimate. And if you're not using the correct line item, or if you change a description here, there's several ways that we'll be able to determine that that the data has been altered. I believe under the what is it, the labor type, I believe that would reflect as user if any of the information there is changed, either the pricing or the description. And that's one of the ways we would be able to determine that it's been altered. That CCI, that's where that localization by region would be. So in this example, it's by Houston. It's under 770 to 772, I believe. And that's where you would have your pricing localized for that area. This is an HVAC example. Any questions about the estimate at all? No? Oh, yes. So after you have your example or your estimate, down here, I know it's hard to see, but down here is where you would apply your coefficient to the pricing. And I think we do mention that your coefficient pricing that you submitted is the maximum that you would charge. But you can always give a job-specific discount further than what your coefficient is. So if on a particular job, you want to give them an extra 5% discount, make sure on your example here that you put on there that it's only for this job specific only, or else you might be liable to give that discount on future projects, not just that one. And any bond that you have, if it was applicable, it's a pass-through. So we don't charge on your bonding. Okay, in reviewing the job quote, we at Choice Partners, when you're working with the member, a lot of times we can catch if there's a mistake early on. So instead of sending that member the quote initially, you can always ask someone from Choice Partners to review your quote prior. It's a free service. Some other cooperators might charge you or add in an additional admin fee or something, but for us, we don't charge for that. We welcome it. That would also hopefully get you to have that project done quicker, because the member might also ask for us to review your quote. And if we've already reviewed it, we can quickly say, yes, the quote is compliant, and you can work with that member. So part of that is the CCI location, just checking to make sure it's the right location, making sure that you're using the correct coefficient, making sure the OMP pricing is visible on the estimate, and that you're using the most recent data release. Try to make sure you don't use non-pre-priced line items. You can use them. It's just you have to provide 3 quotes to justify using a non-pre-priced line item. Try to limit what you do with Division 1. It is allowable in certain limited circumstances. The member does have to, if the reviewer see your quote and see it on there, they have to approve it. But most of our Division 1 on our side is already in the contract. I forget which section it's under, but there's a section where it says these are included.
Yeah, so under the definition section of your contract, it's in section 1.0. There's a definition of coefficient, and it tells you what is already included in it. Certain items out of Division 1 are in that definition. They're already included in the coefficient. Also, the bullet above it where it says attempt to pass through the cooperative fee, that was included in that coefficient. So it should never be an additional line item, okay? As you notice on the left-hand side, 3rd bullet, it says OMP pricing. That means that RS Means already has the overhead and profit included in that pricing. So we should never see additional line items for additional overhead and profit. That's all supposed to be in that calculation with that coefficient. So that you're aware, we offer these compliance reviews for your clients as well. At any time, any one of your clients can send the estimate to us and we will review it against these 8 things. What do we not get into? We do not get into your scope of work. We do not get into your specifications. We do not get into your quantities. Okay, we're simply reviewing it for compliance against our contract. I will add, if you're new to job order contracting or trade jock, we keep talking about RS Means in the price book. If you've never seen that or experienced that, we do offer trainings to teach you how to use it, and that's at no cost to you. Okay, you just need to get with your contract manager and schedule a training. We'll get you on the books. We'll even help you do your first estimate or two, just to make sure you're down the right path.
But to go along with what Stephen was saying, you have to make sure you have that software. If you don't have the software, then you're not going to be able to provide an estimate for our members. So there is usually a small cost with that. But all the other services, we provide that at no additional cost. The job. This is where I was saying previously about having one contract signed by both parties. You're doing it for the safety of yourself and also the safety of a member, especially working with government entities. Also make sure that the prevailing wage rates are included with the supplemental contract, because what you submitted with Choice Partners, may not cover. I mean, I know it covers the whole state, whether it's federal or not federal, but they may have additional rates in that region that you're working that might be different than Houston. Make sure that supplemental contract has the scope of work and the pricing assigned with it, and that all the information matches on your quote, matches your supplemental contract, and there are no discrepancies. Anything to add on this job?
So the deal here is typically, most of you, how many of you consider the PO the contract? Don't be shy. I know there's at least one. But the deal is that state law defines what constitutes a job order contract, okay? And the way they defined it was a single document with both parties' signatures agreeing to the same thing. This actually went to court and was challenged. And the school district made the argument that they took the vendor's proposal with their signature and added their PO with their signature, terms and conditions, and that constituted one document. The judge ruled that they had one document with one signature and one set of terms and conditions. They had a second separate document with different terms and conditions and the other party signature, but they did not have a single document with the same matching terms and conditions and both parties signing and agreeing to it. The client, the client, the governmental entity lost that case, okay? So in job order contracting, the PO is not enough to constitute the contract. The other reason why it's not enough is because when a cooperative does a job order contract, they didn't write it for your client. They didn't write it for your company. They wrote it for any and every governmental entity out there, nonprofit, right? Do they know what constitutes a notice to proceed? Do they know if there's going to be liquidated damages? Do they know if there's going to be retainage? Do they know what substantial completion is or final completion? And the answer is no. It's not in the cooperative contract. You should always have a supplemental agreement or a supplemental contract that has all of that in there. It protects you and the member. Nobody's caught off guard. Make sense?
So in bidding versus quoting, you've already gone through the procurement process with Choice Partners. You went through a formal bid. It was written, sealed, you were evaluated, and you were awarded a Choice Partners contract. Now, on a quote, that's a job-specific opportunity that a member may have sent to you, in which they may ask for your price again on that job-specific price. They're not going to re-bid your coefficient. So your coefficient's already, that's the maximum price that you would have. But a lot of members, there's certain statutes that dictate that they have to get 3 or more quotes. Usually it's 3. And so they may be asking for your pricing on a particular job. Don't be shocked by that. They will ask you for that. They are not rebidding your coefficient. Final thoughts. Make sure that your estimate and your quote with the member has your contract number on there. Ensuring that you have your choice partner's contract number on there ensures that the member is covered along the different paper tracks between paper tracking. A lot of times the maintenance department might start with your quote. If it doesn't have the choice partner's contract number on there, then when it gets to procurement, they may or may not know that this is a choice partner's contract job. So making sure all your information has the proper documentation on there ensures that when it gets to the correct department, which is purchasing or procurement usually, that you'll be at your PO faster. On our end, we like to make sure that the confirming PO has been issued. Make sure you do your monthly reporting. In some circumstances, it might be quarterly, but your monthly reporting also has the job number, the contract number on there, and making sure that we get that in a timely manner. The foregoing presentation was created by Harris County Department of Education. This presentation is intended to be solely used for general information purposes. It is not specifically regarded as legal advice. If specific legal advice is sought, please consult an attorney. Thank you.
Any questions? Is there anything in the chat? No. We're here to help y'all. I know this is probably very overwhelming and a lot of it's new if you've never heard it. But we're here to help. You can schedule a one-on-one training for any of this. We can go into much more depth if you would like. The other thing is, it was the top bullet, but establish that procurement method with your client prior to giving them a quote. And this is true of all contracts, not just JOC contracts. And the reason why is every cooperative contract that I have ever read states that if you accept the PO with our contract number on there, you're responsible for paying us the fee. Here's the deal. Sometimes, and this does happen, you get called out and they say, hey, here's my project and I need a quote. Nobody talks about how we're going to price this. What contract are we using? Show up, you give them a quote. They send it over to purchasing. Purchasing says, hey, are they on a co-op? Yeah, they're on a co-op. At this point, one of two things happens. The first one is they either come back to you and say, hey, are you on a co-op? And you say, yeah, take that pricing and add 2% to it. Except that that's not what you bid. And if they're in an audit, they will get in trouble. And then at the next conference that they attend, they're going to talk about it. Nobody wants that. The second thing is they don't have a conversation with you and they put the contract number on the PO and the PO goes to somebody in your office that you're unaware of and you go to work. And then they go tell the co-op that you just procured that under their contract, but you did not allow for the fee because you didn't know about it. But the second you accepted that PO, you're on the hook. That's true of every single solitary cooperative. So that's not a choice partners thing. That's a heads up. Choice partners will work with you to some extent on that when that happens. It's like a one-time deal. And then after that, we kind of expect that you have those conversations up front. But we do see it regularly, not just on our co-op, but on many of them. Any questions? All right, well then y'all have a great day. We do have a survey now. If you didn't answer it previously, why is it not up? There it is. Go ahead and scan that QR code. Let us know what we did good, what we did bad, what we can improve on. If you are wanting additional information, give us your name and contact information. Survey does not require it, but we cannot get back to you without it. So if you want the additional training or you want to know who your contract manager is, please provide us your contact info. And I may leave that up for a second. Jeff, do you want to close this out?
Okay, we're done. Thank you. No, no, I want to say really thanks for staying. Thanks. I hope you learned some stuff from all of our speakers. Just learning a little more about Choice Partners. The one thing I keep emphasizing, let us help you. Let us help you help your. That's what we're here for. So I think the CP seals were already handed out. Yeah, everybody's got a seal. And if you want if you're online and didn't make it in, you want us to send you a seal, the Choice Partners seal that you can use at trade shows, put on exhibit tables. Chances are you'll see us at a lot of the shows you'll go to. But if you want to have that on your table, a lot of times that'll draw some of the members or some of the attendees to you. Also, let us know. We'll get it out to you. And every time we do one of these things, I learned something. Like when Janet went to marketing resources page, how to find the CP seal right there in electronic format. I don't know how many times I've searched our shared drive looking for that, or tried to find it in some file or whatever, or sent them an email. But now I'm like, oh, I can do that myself. You know, that's kind of one of those things that there's always good information that happens at these items also. I think some of the other things, I mean, just to reemphasize, like Janet said, the approved versus the awarded vendor. Use the word awarded, because a lot of people say I'm approved. I know we've had conversations, and a high-level purchasing guy at a very large institution, I won't say the name, but everybody in the room would know who it is, have people come in and say, oh, what kind of vendors, first visit or whatever, what kind of vendors do you want or need from another co-op? And we can get them on in 2 weeks. You just let me know. We'll have them on in 2 weeks. We don't operate that way. There's a lot of co-ops out there that can and will say things like that. And basically this guy uses that as a filtering tool. He says, okay, I'm not going to deal with that co-op because I know that's not legal. They can't legally put somebody on in 2 weeks. You just can't. You can't do an RFP in 2 weeks. And our person was honest and said, yeah, we would definitely like to do that. But as you know, RFPs take a while. That's some of the things when you're out there talking to a purchasing person, they may, they use those as qualifiers. They use it as a litmus test. I can't speak. And, make sure you get the vendor login, or find someone in your company that has that. There's information on the website that can help you also with your efforts to expand your business. So those are just a couple of the real quick notes that I was writing down and taking as we were going along. I want to really say thank you again for taking time, spending a little bit of time with us, hopefully learning a little bit about us, meeting our team and folks, and saying hello, and hopefully let us help you use the Choice Partners contract, make a little more money, a little more sales, and grow your business. Thank you once again, and have a great day here locally. Watch out for the storms coming. I think they're still coming. They've come and gone and come and gone and come and gone. Anyway, have a great day. Happy Easter, and thank you for coming.